Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Not That Jack YouTube video. If I sound kind of bad in this video, it is because my nose is literally shattered by a piece of wood. No further information needed, it just happened. Ignore it. Let's get straight into the video. So, Jack, what great content will you be providing us this video, you might be asking to yourself? Well, if you saw my Instagram and my video schedule, you would know that this video is all about my journey through writing, or my journey as a writer. If you don't know this already, yes, I am a writer. I am currently working on a few stories right now, and one of my stories, The Informs, is now on Wattpad, and you can check out Not That Stories to read the first 5 chapters or parts that are on there. So yeah, go check out The Informs to support me, and let's get into my journey through writing. There wasn't really an age where I decided, yeah, I'm gonna dedicate my whole life to writing. I'm gonna do this the rest of my life. It's gonna become my whole personality. No, that never happened. But there was a time between the ages of 7 and 8 where there was a spark. I decided that I wanted to tell stories, whether it was in a book, making movies, making shows, or just telling them to other people. When I was 7 or 8, I started going to a new school, and I was considered one of the weirder kids. Well, weirder in the sense that I was obsessed with Marvel and had an overactive imagination. For the longest time, I felt like I was the only one. I felt alone, distant from all the others. But then I met this guy. He was like me. He had an overactive imagination, and we got along. And I'm telling you, this dude, he was amazing. He was funny, he was playful, he was kind. Basically, the bestest, most bestest friend that anyone could ever have. During recess, we would play together with this other friend, and we would develop these stories. We were superheroes, and we had to fight off these big giant monsters and defeat them in time until the darkness came, which was basically when recess was over. During those 15 to 20 minutes of recess, it felt like we were living how we wanted to, not how we should have. We lived in an imaginary place, but it felt like we were ourselves. It felt like we weren't living in an illusion that we called living. Since I was younger and still developing my skill for writing, I had to take this additional class where I could learn how to read and write English. And I remember we had these red notebooks that had our names on it and a drawing of ourselves. I loved that notebook. That notebook was where Informs came from. Informs came from just me being able to write and create these stories with my friends during recess where I could just be myself and just have an imaginary place that seemed like it would never end. These fragments of happiness, although we knew that we lived in a place that was filled with sadness and anger. I'm sorry if that sounded really sad and depressing, and if it made me seem out to be a loner and just unwanted before writing, because that's not true. Um, it's just having friends, especially ones that I had similar interests to, and ones that I felt I could just be open about, kind of opened something inside of me. It kind of opened my creativity and opened who I really was beneath all of the flesh and bone of my physical figure. Basically, what I have to say is thank you, Jaden. Thank you for being my friend all those years ago and still to this day. For opening up my imagination and even helping me develop the idea of informs. And also, thank you, Miss Smith, for giving me that notebook and teaching me how to write. I literally wouldn't be making this video if it weren't for you two. And yeah, thank you for all of the help. And if you two watch this video, which I'm pretty sure eventually I will make you do so, I just want to say thank you again. Yeah. Thank you. You've helped me so much. Okay, now that we've established what things have affected me as a writer and basically influenced me to do what I'm doing now, I think we should talk about why I even write in the first place. I'm not quite sure where this quote came from, but I heard it and it stuck with me for the longest time. There's this quote by Mark Twain, I believe, that states, "Write what you know." But when I looked this up a few months ago, there were contradictory statements. Some were saying, "Write what you know," some were saying, "Write what you love," and some were just saying, "Write for the hell of it." I was confused, to say the least. And since I looked that up near the beginning of my whole Wattpad experience career thing, it made me even more confused and worried for my writing. But I think I figured it out. I think I figured out why I write. My writing reflects who I am and my deepest desires. Informs reflects how I want to make sacrifices for the greater good and how I don't want to feel weak, even though I know that there are going to be things that I can't overcome. That's why I wrote my character, Jack, literally my name, how I did. Through the story, he has made many, many sacrifices. He sacrifices his innocence for power. He sacrifices love for help for himself. He ends up sacrificing his own life for the sake of others. I wrote him the way I did because I know that that is how I feel sometimes. That is who I aspire to be. If I Had a Girlfriend reflects how I want to be loved and how I want to love other people. Literally, the premise of If I Had a Girlfriend was this kid gets really lonely and talks about how he wants a girlfriend and what her attributes would be, and then she suddenly spawns out of nowhere. The idea for If I Had a Girlfriend literally came from me feeling alone and not really having a lover. Most of the story of If I Had a Girlfriend has come from my life and what I've been through, except for the fact that my dream girl came to life. Chapters of Lore, which is one of the stories that I'm currently working on, and basically the sequel, sort of, to the Informs, reflects how I want answers for the deepest questions that I ask myself. How I want to exceed what I've already accomplished. The Haunted region reflects my creative and fantasy side, with its endless catalog of different creatures with amazing abilities and its grotesque villain that seems to be overpowered compared to the rest, along with a little slice of my desire from the Informs, with the character of Lane defeating said villain and basically rewriting history by saving an almighty god from causing destruction. Instead of saying write what you know or write what you love or write whatever, I think I've made a new quote, and it goes like this: your writing is what you love, and your writing is what you want to do. It is your profession, your desire, what you like to do. Your writing reflects who you are. Your writing is you. Your writing is all of your deepest desires, and it affects someone else's. Don't waste your time pondering the question of writing what you love and writing what you know. Write you. Write your life. Write your own story. Write your desires. Write what you aspire to be. Write what you want. Write you. To end this video off with a banger, let's talk about what exactly I write. Although my writing doesn't really go into a specific category and mixes between comedy, romance, action, horror, and literally anything in between, I think it's only appropriate to share some stories that are in the works, or some stories that you can read now on Wattpad at Not That Stories. The first story up is the fan favorite Informs, which literally took me the longest time to make, and has currently 23 reads on Wattpad, So, yay! So, without spoiling what happens in the story and also going off of the description I put for it, I'm just gonna say a secret organization formed by the United Nations is in charge of investigating weird phenomenon from all across the galaxy. Join us in this adventure and get to find out who are the Informs. I kept it short and sweet without actually giving stuff away, but if you want to know what happens and learn more about the world of Informs and the organization formed by the United Nations, go check out Informs at Wattpad and at Not That Stories. These next three stories are stories that I am currently writing and are not on Wattpad, with Chapters of Lore literally only having like 6 pages written so far. But the main reason is I'm busy with my own life, okay? I know it's crazy for an animated character to have a life, but I have one. I exist. That's crazy. Anyways, If I Had a Girlfriend is the one that's most ready, so I'll talk about that first. If I Had a Girlfriend stars Matt, who is a teenager, and a bunch of his other friends. And Matt, one day while talking to his close group of friends, starts talking about how his girlfriend would be and what attributes she would have. And the next day, literally out of nowhere, he wakes up to a girl who falls under all of his classifications. And yes, they do eventually fall in love, but they also struggle. So once it's done, it will be on Wattpad. And I'm just saying, I really enjoyed writing If I Had a Girlfriend. It's one of those stories that was fun just writing, and I think will be fun reading as well. So, yeah, that's If I Had a Girlfriend. This next one is called The Haunted Region, and its title is a mix of haunted and Boston, thus the name being called Haunted. I'm not smart, I just liked the sound of it. The Haunted Region takes place in this magical world where creatures of amazing ability and humans live alongside each other and serve as sort of partners in a way. But this evil organization tries to take advantage of these creatures and tries to make humans superior than them. But one day, this kid Lane finds out about it and tries to stop it, and eventually does with the help of his friends and family. The Haunted Region is about 1/3 of the way written, and it was really just for fun. But I wanted to make it an actual thing, so once it's done, I will be putting it on Wattpad, along with Informs and most likely If I Had a Girlfriend when I'm done with it. This last one, which I plan not to be the least, is Chapters of Lore, which by the title you can guess is all about the lore of the Informs and also a tiny bit of If I Had a Girlfriend and the Haunted Region. Chapters of Lore will serve as the sequel to the Informs while also kind of being different from it. It will have additional stories from the same universe while also giving some spotlight to characters that were in the main book that I thought needed to be addressed or needed some more storytelling. I plan on chapters of lore being jam packed with information, a part of the universe of the Informs, and I plan on it being longer than the original Informs book because of said stuff. In this tiny segment, I'm basically just gonna be flashing images of different webtoon shows, manga, anime, basically stories that gave me inspiration to make my own. So, yeah, here they are. Well, everyone, that has been my journey through writing, and it has been a long and bumpy one, but I'm glad that at the end of the day, I was able to share my journey with all of you and make this video. So, yeah, that's the end of this video, and I'll see you all in the next one, hopefully. Bye bye!